Hey guys, this video is going to be for the absolute beginner crocheter. So this is going to be everything that I think you would need to know to start crocheting. So first we're going to talk about the weights of yarn. Here you can see that this is a size 4 medium yarn, and it recommends, you can barely see it, but this is where you would see it on your yarn that you're buying. Here it says a medium 4 yarn. Here's your crochet hook, which this says 5.5, and then it also tells you your knitting size needles that you would need, but we're not talking about that in this video. So here is a size 3 weight yarn, and it is a light weight, and it recommends a size H hook, which is a 5mm hook. So I have both of those here just to show you, and I also did a few swatches, I suppose you would say, of different hooks and the same yarn. So this is a size 4 weighted yarn, and this top one here is with the recommended 5.5mm hook, and this one here on the bottom is a size 5mm hook. They are both 15 stitches long, but as you can see, this one looks just a tad bit shorter, almost a stitch shorter, just because it is that smaller hook size. So then to show you the bigger size, this is a size 6mm hook on the top now, and the bottom is the 5.5mm hook. So if you line them up, the 6mm hook one is just slightly longer than the recommended 5.5mm hook. So that is the gist of that. If you want to use a 5mm hook with a size 3 lightweight yarn, you will get the correct gauge if you're using a pattern like that. But if you're using a pattern that tells you a size bigger, then that means that your work is just going to be a little bit loose. If you're going to use a hook smaller, it will just make your work a little bit tighter. Now that we have covered the yarns and the hooks, we are going to move on to the magic ring, which is how you start chaining. And there are actually 2 ways to move on from a magic ring, but in this video we are just going to be working with one because it is how you make the slip knot. So to do that, we're going to lay our yarn over our hand like this so that the tail end is on the front of our hand. Wrap it around so that you make a loop with a cross on the top. Bring the continuing yarn through that ring and pull it tight so that you make this loop with a slip knot. Now, then you're going to want to insert your hook into that loop, and again pull the continuing yarn so that it brings that knot right up. You are not going to want this loop to be that tight on your hook. You're going to want it to be about the width of the head of your crochet hook so that you can crochet with ease. And if you keep it right at about that width, you can make sure that all of your crochet stitches are about the same gauge, and that way your work looks uniform and nice. The next thing I think we need to talk about is tension. You always see crocheters wrap the yarn around their fingers like this, and that is because they are creating tension. When I first started learning how to crochet, I liked to wrap the yarn around this finger like this also to create just a little bit more tension because I wasn't as good at holding the same tension. But for the most part, I can just keep it like this. You don't want the tension to be too tight and you don't want it to be too loose. And like I said, as long as the loop on your hook is always about the width of the head of your crochet hook, you can make sure that your stitches are looking uniform. So after tension, it is stability. You're going to hold the tail of your work in your other fingers and your thumb like this pretty much at all times for stability. And when we start chaining, you will see exactly what I mean by that just a little bit more. So let's start doing that. To chain, we are going to yarn over or wrap the yarn around our hook one time, just like that, and bring it through the loop on our hook, just like that. So So as you see, I'm still holding on to this so that I can actually pull my hook through the yarn, and I have this tension here so that it is controlling how easily I can pull this yarn, just like this. So then I'm going to yarn over and pull that string through that loop. And as I chain, I'm going to move my fingers up. I was holding it here, but I'm going to move them up here because it's easier for my stability to hold it like this. So we're going to yarn over again and pull it through the loop. Yarn over, pull through, and again move up. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through, move up. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through, move up. And keep doing that until you have however many stitches you need. So now to count this, which we need to do, we're going to look at it like this. And each of these two little loops on the top and the bottom count as one chain. So it's going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 stitches. Just like that. And that is a chain and how you count it. Now we are going to move on to the single crochet stitch. We are also going to be working in rows so that you guys can see how to go on to the next row and keep it straight. So to continue on to the next row and still have these 10 stitches, we are going to chain one more so that we have 11 chains on our hook. That way that counts as that little up to the next row. So to single crochet, we're going to skip the stitch we just made and insert our hook right into this next stitch right here, just like this. Then we are going to yarn over and pull that right through where we just inserted our hook, so that now we have 2 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through both loops, and that is 1 single crochet. So then we are going to insert a hook right into the next stitch, pull up a loop so that we now have 2 loops on the hook again, yarn over and pull through both of those loops. One more time, we're going to insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and go through both loops on the hook. So that is 3 single crochets, and you can just continue on doing that until the end of the row. When you get to the end, it's going to look a little funky, but that is a stitch there, so you just insert your hook, pull up a loop just like before, yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. So it will look like that. Then just like before, both loops on the top and bottom count as a stitch. So to count it, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 there on the end. And those are single crochets. For the next round, we are going to double crochet. So to get up to the next row, just like we added a chain here for the single crochet, we are going to add 2 chains at the beginning of this row. Just chain 2 right up from there, and that will make that edge nice and lined up for you. Then you're going to turn your work over so that we are working the other way now along this row. So on this example here, we are going to leave this chain 2 as the first double crochet stitch for this row. And if I were to be making a blanket, this is also how I would do it. So again, these edges are nicely lined up, and unless the pattern specifies, this is most of the time how it's going to be. If you're following a pattern, they should specify how that is though. So to double crochet, we're going to yarn over to begin with so that we have 2 loops on the hook right off the bat. And then because this chain 2 here counts as this first stitch, we're going to go right into this next stitch right here. So you're just going to push your hook right into that dark spot. Then we're going to yarn over and bring up a loop again. So now that we have 3 loops on the hook, then yarn over and go through 2 of the loops so that we still have 2. Yarn over and go through 2 of the loops. So again, we are going to yarn over, go right into that next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop so that we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. So one more time, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop so that we have 3 loops, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. And that is the double crochet stitch. So go ahead and do that all the way until the end of the row. Here at the end of the row, you are going to want to get this last stitch here. So when you yarn over and try to go into that stitch, you may only get one of the loops, just like that, but you're going to want to make sure to get both of the loops. Both loops, like I said, are considered the whole stitch. So just do a double crochet right into that also. And that'll make your edges nice and lined up. To count the double crochet row, it is just like everything else with the 2 loops counting as 1 stitch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as I said, this chain 2 counts as a stitch, so that is 10. You can also count the posts, as they are called, and you will also get 10 as long as you count this chain 2 at the beginning. For the last row and the last stitch that we are going to talk about in this video, we are going to do a triple crochet. So for the single crochet row that we did an extra single chain to get up to that row. For the double crochet row, we did 2 chains to get up to that row. And as suggested for the triple crochet, we are going to do 3 chains to get up to that row. So then we are going to turn our work again to work the other way on this row. And again, this first chain 3 is going to count as our first stitch here to keep this line going up nicely. For a triple crochet, we are going to yarn over twice so that we have 3 loops on our hook, just like that. Then you're going to go into the next stitch, just like before, yarn over and bring up a loop. So now we have 4 loops on our hook, just like that. Then we're going to yarn over and bring it through 2 loops, yarn over, bring it through 2 loops, yarn over and bring it through 2 loops. And that is 1 triple crochet. So then we are going to yarn over twice again, go into the next stitch, yarn over and bring up a loop so that we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. One more time, we're going to yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. So you can now do that until the end of the row. When you get to the end of this row, again, it is going to look a little intimidating, a little scary, but it is okay. We're just going to yarn over twice, and this is the chain 2 from the beginning of the row. So we're just going to triple crochet right into the second chain. Do the exact same thing for the triple crochet. And just see that this is the first chain, and we triple crocheted right into the second chain right there. And that'll make it so that we can count all 10 triple crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, including the first chain 3. So that is how you would do every single row, depending on which type of row you are doing, a single, double, or triple crochet row, and how you continue on doing so. To fasten a piece of work like this off, all you would do is do one chain right there and actually pull that tight. And then you're going to pull that through just a little bit. Take your scissors and snip it off. And then you will pull that right through that chain. And again, pull it tight. And that will create a knot so that your work will no longer come undone. One other thing that I think that is helpful is when you are to an end of the row, or you need to put your work down for a minute and you don't want your work to be undone, you can pull your hook out just like this so that it makes that loop really big. Then you can take your hook right out of that and just set it down. And then you can move it around and all of that without it coming undone. So if it does happen to come undone though, like this, oh no, all of our work is being undone, right? All you're going to want to do is say it stops like this and you're like, oh my god, what is that? Just undo it back to where you have one loop at the top like this. Then you can insert your hook right in there and start working again. Just like that. Wherever you are in your pattern, just work it back to one of the loops at the top like that, and you can continue working. And that is it for this video. So I hope that that was helpful for you and that you guys go on to make many more things, and if you do, tag me in them. I would love to see the things that you guys make. So have fun, be creative, and I will see you guys next time.